Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I just finished building all 7 towers of the original Twin Tower complex, and I'm gonna contact Lego to see if they'll do it. They've been saying that they don't like to touch. When you submit an idea, you put in what IP it belongs into, and if you put the Twin Towers, they will reject it. But I'm hoping they'll make an exception for the memorial, the 25th anniversary coming up, and so if it makes it, I'll give a portion of the proceeds to help those who are still affected by 9/11, and I think that has a chance of swaying them. So, but the other problem, even if it pushes through that, the other problem is the number of pieces. On Lego Ideas, they usually cap out at 5,000, but I know they've made other sets that are more than. I think the record was some 40,000 something. And so right now, as I speak, unless they bring the set back, right now as I speak, these window pieces are really expensive. These one by one windows, it's calculating some things. I want to make sure the build is stable. Otherwise, it will really be inappropriate if the build comes crashing down. That would really be tragically inappropriate, right? But that one by one piece is really expensive. I think when I quoted all of these pieces, if you were to buy them yourself to build, I think it would cost like 30,000 US dollars uh, because of that one particular piece. But if they bring it back, I don't think it will be the end of the world. Um, hey, I got an idea. Maybe the set could go for $911 as as a memorial to 9/11. I don't know. Uh, but I got some ambitious art projects that I want to, if I had the money, I want to do. Every time I build one of these Lego buildings, I make it a point to always use the same ratio, usually 500 to 1 for buildings. Uh, and the reason for that is that I have a dream of one day connecting all of the buildings together into a city, like maybe build every major building in New York and put it into one build, and eventually, if I have more and more cities, to then build the model of the highways and then connect all of that together into a Lego United States, and then eventually into a Lego Earth, right? With lots of blue pieces for the ocean and even the mountain ranges and all that. You could really do many of the mountain ranges. 500 to 1. The Earth's diameter is 8,000 miles. That would be about 16 miles. Maybe not the Earth, then maybe portions of the Earth, right? You could do the buildings, and oh, it just finished rendering. That's what it looks like. Yeah, let's just make sure we calculate the stability. It would really be tragically inappropriate if you build it and then it comes pancaking down. Right? That would make Lego really frown. But I want to put all of that together into one giant city or country, mountain range, and eventually the whole planet. But 500 to 1 is about as small as it can get. Any smaller, and you start to lose a lot of details of the building. I was barely able to push it with Taipei 101 because of the slants and all of that. Another thing I would like to do someday, I'm a big fan of Mondrian, and I love the Mondrian art puzzle. Mondrian art puzzle, and it looks something like that. And it could be potentially a lot bigger. And I hope to one day paper an entire wall with Mondrian art. I'd love to decorate an entire house with Mondrian art puzzle wallpaper. Just 4 different colors. It's pasted on there, but I obviously don't own my place, so I can't really do that. And I think my landlord would probably scream her head off if I brought up the idea of I like to paper the walls, right? By the way, if anybody has a home that they'd like me to wallpaper, leave a comment. I might consider it. at some point. I just want to see the idea of it. It might increase the value of your home. No guarantees there, but it might. I like to do that. The other big expensive art project I like to do someday is so you guys know I love making bismuth crystals. But when I researched what other metals can make crystals like that, two other metals caught my eye. Gold apparently does it too. And I'd love to make one of those geodes. Let's see if I can find my favorite geode. Hold on a second. The best one I ever did is. Hold on. That one. I still have it. It weighs about 2 pounds. If it were gold, it would weigh about 4 pounds. That's about 50 ounces. That's like $200,000 worth of gold. I'd love to do that. Not to mention, you have to start with quite a bit more gold than that because you need to fill the entire mold, right? So I'd love to do that out of gold at some point. But you got to start with like $1 million worth of gold, and you need better equipment too. Gold has a much higher melting point than bismuth, obviously, and it's also unclear if that graphite mold will hold up, right? Because gold is so much heavier than bismuth, and you're heating it to a much higher temperature where the mold might be more unstable at that point, right? So it's unquestionable whether or not the gear is going to be trickier, and plus it's $1 million worth of gold to do that. The other metal I thought about is apparently polonium has properties similar to bismuth. When Mary Curie was investigating what other elements were in her ore, right, she was using waste of uranium byproducts. She initially thought what she would later call polonium was actually in the family of bismuth. So what we now call moscovium. That's what she thought it was because it went through the same chemical pathways as bismuth. So apparently polonium could do the same thing. But you probably want to use polonium 209 because it has a much longer half-life, over 100 years. So you can still get a crystal for something. It will probably deform over time as it decays. And also polonium 209 is way scarier than 210. Even though it has a longer half-life, it sometimes decays with what is that? Electron capture, and then it gives off a gamma ray, right? So it's not enough just to shield of the alpha particles. All right, some expensive art projects I dream of doing one day. I think I'll get to some of these, especially the gold. If anybody here has a bunch of gold that they want to make into something, I just want the exposure. I'll make it into a crystal for you. You can keep it. I just want the exposure. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.